What's going on, my fellow revelers? Welcome back to another episode of the Festy Hub Podcast. My name is Manny, aka Frisky Hug. And who else went to Miami Music Week last weekend? Because wow, the vibes were amazing. There was a couple incidents. I think like a lot of people got their phones stolen if you went to Factory Town. What was that event? Elro. So it's sad to hear that some of my friends got their phones stolen during an Elro show. But I hear it was like really crowded, and that really makes for a lot of like thievery and stuff like that. So that really sucks, and it's like kind of bummed me out to hear that like my friends had to go through that kind of trouble. But everybody that got their phones stolen, they still went through the entire Miami Music Week enjoying it and having a blast. So I, for one, also really enjoyed, spending time with those people, spending time with my friends. And I didn't go to Ultra. I know a lot of people kind of go to Ultra and then they also do Miami Music Week. I like to just do Miami Music Week. There's so much going on in the city that I don't feel like I need to do both things. And I can still hang out with my friends like at the afters and stuff. So that's kind of where I'm at when it comes to like that weekend. And I went last year, so obviously I had fun. We did it again this year. Did the entire 3 days, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Super fun. Don't regret anything that I did, any choices and any parties that I went to. And everybody that I hung out with, you guys are such a pleasure to be around with. And then as for events that I got coming up, I'm only going to a couple club stuff. Like today when I'm recording it, I got Lay's over at Celine. I got Buku over at TK Lounge next week, and then after that, I'm doing John Summit. I think he's at the Vanguard. I'm not really sure. And then we'll do some festival stuff after that. But I think like EDC Vegas is next. I'm not really sure. But yeah, let's go with today's special guest. We have Thomas Greco. Thomas Greco also goes by Greco as his DJ name. He's an entrepreneur, a DJ, producer. He's also the co-founder of OMF, which is Odyssey Music Festival, which also I went to last year, and it was fire, such good vibes, and I can't wait to go again and be a part of the team this time. Not that I wasn't part of the team last time, but I feel like, I'm really kind of, wrapping my roots around it. But this year's, the entire festival this year is just gonna be so cool. But yeah, and he's also got a couple like record labels under his belt. I mean, Thomas does it all. He's been in the scene since like, I think like we were talking about is like 2007. And he kind of started like DJing and then progressed to doing more things here and there. What I love most about Thomas is he's all about the community, which is, if you guys have seen all the stuff that I do, I'm about the community. And that's what kind of gravitated towards during our conversation. I'm like, whoa, like we have like the same values when it comes to like this EDM scene, which is super fucking cool. But without further ado, enjoy the podcast. All right, so I'd like to welcome Thomas, aka GrecosHouse, to the Festy Hub Podcast.
Hey guys, how's it going? Thank you, Manny, for having me on the show
Absolutely,
today.
brother.
I'm super excited to get into it.
So I got to know you through the last Odyssey Music Festival, which you ran. That's kind of where I kind of know you, and that how we got started with our relationship. But for the viewers out there who don't know who you are, if you wouldn't mind just kind of giving like a quick intro.
Sure. Hey guys, my name's Thomas Greco. I go by Greco NYC as a DJ and producer. Started my career actually out here in Florida, but I'm born and raised in New York. And yeah, so and just to correct you, it was a we thing. Like it was not just me that did that last year. Just to elaborate a little bit more about the festival. This was a true team effort and I loved it, man. So I can't take credit for just doing that. It was just a phenomenal team effort to pull that off. And a lot of people were just like, they were pulling their weight, like helping out in ways that I was like, you could do that. Oh, cool. All right, great. Yeah. But yeah, I would just call myself a creator at this point. I think it's a really good term as far as artists and creatives go. I do like to produce music and art and things like that. I've always had a dream of creating a music festival, and here we are. We pulled off an impossible dream that I used to get
Not
made fun of
impossible dream,
about.
but in your mind, it's like there's so much that goes on with it. It's like you almost like think you're gonna fail because like you don't know what all the moving pieces are.
Absolutely. And I have a lot of experience in events and promotions from my previous career in radio. I was working in promotions and marketing with my boss Ovidio, who is one of our partners on this event, and I could have never, shout out to Ovidio, couldn't have done this event without him. He was one of the first people I called when I had this idea, like, all right, I'm straight off from my Ibiza trip, I'm like riding high on a nice, a wave of, great releases and festival bookings like EDC and Imagine, and it was just the best. It was really a lot of fun. And at that point, I did that for months, right? Like, and then it turned into years, and it's been a decade of DJing and producing. So at this point, I do notice a lot of deficiencies in this business, in the community, and things like that. So I think a lot of artists struggle with that. Seeking where you belong and trying to get opportunities and doing everything you possibly can to get noticed, to get those opportunities. So as time went on, I got older. I'm 35 now. I'm kind of getting to the point where I would love to provide more opportunities to all of these amazing artists that I see not only being overlooked, but are just doing great work. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a true privilege and an honor to do what we do, and we're working with a local nonprofit charity along with the city of St. Petersburg out here in Florida to do this event. And it's brought a lot of really amazing people together, including yourself. And I think it's just gonna snowball every single year that we continue doing this. I think one of the lessons that I learned very, very, very long ago is that you should never give up. And I am a true testament to that statement. I am persistent. I am hardworking. I'll do whatever I can to make sure that we're doing our best at what I'm involved with, whether it's record labels or being a DJ or producer or running promotions for radio stations, or I used to be a martial artist when I was a kid and a gymnast. So I was very self-disciplined where I would go into competition. I would lead demonstration teams to promote our karate school. I was kind of just born into this. It's not that I asked for the leadership role. It's kind of like I was always finding myself in that position. And then as I got older, it feels like you really do want to take more opportunities to lead your own, destiny, right? You want to lead your own legend, if that makes sense. And it's just once you start doing that, I feel like life does start to click, and all these, dots are starting to connect. And I feel like Odyssey is definitely that final move for me as a creator and as an entrepreneur, to really just plant our flag out here and develop something really special that we can call our own. We're up against titans these days, and I really love that because it inspires so much. I mean, the market is saturated in a lot of ways, so it does create a lot of I would say focus on being different, doing things differently, trying weird stuff out that maybe people haven't done before. Those
Especially
are
like
all in
right
line for what
now,
we're trying to do.
especially with like Insomniac moving to the East Coast more and
Yes.
more.
Yes.
I think the people in the East Coast or the east side of the United States are feeling like that pressure from the Insomniac promotions and the Insomniac events, that we never felt before, because Insomniac kind of just stood to their side and to their business, and it seems like they're kind of just trying to conquer the United States at this point.
Yeah, well, listen, I mean, there's always going to be that in competition and in business. You're always going to have the tops, and they deserve to be there, right?
Oh, of
Like
course, yeah.
I've watched and been inspired by all of these guys like Pasquale and Gary Richards and Disco Donnie doing all these shows around here that I was very much involved with and a participant of and a fan of for many years. And it was just so funny. I have a very good friend of mine, Kyle Kinch. Shout out to Kyle Kinch. He just played Ultra Music Festival this past weekend in Miami. And I love seeing that. Like, that is true commitment, hard work. Like, this guy is always out and just so much fun to be around and such a great artist and DJ. But his character is what I truly love about him the most. There's so many artists that make music and DJ
Mhm.
now, so I'm more invested into character, into integrity of artists, and
Yep.
just overall vibes, right? Like we just want to hang out, have a good time, enjoy life while we're here, and
Yep.
leave it better than what we came and saw it as, right? So yeah, I love the fact that these things are all happening, these opportunities. Ultra was like my first music festival when it was like 2007 or 8.
Wow.
And it was awesome though. Like this is what I was thinking about it this past weekend
Mhm.
because Kyle played, and I'm like, wow, I remember looking at a pamphlet and seeing Black Coffee at the bottom of the list just like a few years ago, and because he started to pop off, and I'm like, wow,
Mhm.
like this was back in 2007 or 6 or whenever I went.
Yeah.
And he stayed with it that long, and now he's headlining all over the place, like for many years now. And it just shows like there does have to be at least a 10 or a 20-year
Mhm.
commitment as an artist. Like why wouldn't you do it for as long as possible, if you really truly love what you do?
It's funny you mentioned
um
Kyle Kinch, and I was just invited to a radio show that Kyle Kinch was gonna be on.
oh, no kidding.
Yeah, so it's so funny. It's like full circle.
No, it's great, and he gives a lot of love for me, and it goes back around. It's just, he credits me for giving
Mhm.
him a lot of opportunity when he was new to the scene in Tampa.
Yeah,
I
and
was
that's the
on
key
my
though.
exit,
The people who don't forget, like the people who don't forget the other people who helped them. I mean, obviously, there's like a lot of people, but I'm never gonna forget the people who mentored me, guided me, and gave me the keys to success. And then
the
the
real
more,
ones, man.
yeah, exactly. That's beautiful. That's
Yeah,
great.
I call them angels. I mean, I know that sounds like kind of whack, but they are. Like people are angels. Like there
Yeah.
are people in my life that I consider as angels because without their help, I would have never seen certain moments of my life actually happen.
Hmm.
So there's a lot of that. And I think like going back to following your own path, creating your own destiny, those things tend to happen more as you gain speed ahead, and you're doing that more frequently, and like it's just really just I would say an energetic kinetic sort of thing where
Hmm.
they'll catch it. Like the right people will pop up into your life, and I think that's a tried and true testament in a lot of things that we involve ourselves with these days. So yeah, we're definitely really excited for year 2. We got that coming up
Yo.
this summer, July 29th, out here at Vinoy Park. We're definitely looking to improve on a lot of things. I mean, it was a hot year last year,
Yeah.
so
Oh,
we're
I'm
coming
excited to
correct
talk about
now.
it because like, one, just hearing you talk and like I already know you're looking into like how can I better this festival? How can I like make year two
Always.
just like even like how can I learn from the previous year and just make this even better? So like I know that's what you're looking at. We'll talk a little bit more about that more towards the end of the video of this podcast. I'm a little
Absolutely.
interested on like when you guys started with your I guess your dreams or your goals, one becoming a DJ and two making this festival dream happen, like what came first?
So I think the spark was definitely all the moments by yourself in your
Mm,
room, contemplating life and the decisions and things. And I'm hyper emotional. I was more hyper emotional when I was younger.
yeah, we all
And
were.
yeah, right. So I would sink into this music and feel
Mhm.
it and live it and be it, and it helped me through a lot of
Yeah.
crap in your life, right? Like I think that music has always been that voice for many, many people for throughout existence. It's a spiritual, it can be tribal in ways, there's a lot of connection with music. And real, I mean, we could go down that rabbit hole, right? Music is a magic, it's one of the few things that we have, right? That are like it's so intangible sometimes.
Oh my, so
You can't even speak it in words. Like, you have to have people experience it.
This morning, I've been just waking up, just like super tired or whatever, and I just like relatable. I woke up this morning, I start the car, and the only thing I want to do is just listen to music. I'm like, this is gonna get me to feel better about today. I'm like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to go to work. I don't want to be like awake this early. But with the sound of music, it's gonna be okay. And I went to work just in a way better mood. Music does that, at least to me
Yeah.
personally.
Oh yeah, and I think a lot of people can relate to that. So we do want to elaborate more on that. So like for me, I was just an audiophile, man.
Mhm.
I'm still to this day incredibly passionate about art, and more so on like the musician route. I'm very experimental with a lot of the music that I
Mhm.
like and that I enjoy. It's usually not for everybody. That was also a big insecurity when I was younger growing up. I didn't really know how to articulate much of this stuff or even share songs with people because I would be called names because I like this gay music,
Mhm.
I'm like, what are you talking about? This is fucking awesome.
Yeah,
Like,
I
what's so wrong with this?
I'll
It's
say
happy and fun and
I used to make fun of my
uh,
friend for this music. Like, I was the
no,
guy.
and it was really easy to do that, right? And
Yeah.
and the funny thing is like over the course of a few years, the people that I slowly introduced this music to, I noticed are starting to listen to the
Mhm.
music.
Yeah, I know. It's
I
so
had no shame. It's fine. Like when you love something, you will go through any sort of
Mhm.
hazing or whatever. I was hazed as a DJ when I started. So
Yeah.
when I started DJing, I had old school DJs that are like, "Who's this young guy? Who
Oh,
does he
yeah.
think he is?" Like he's playing on a computer. So I got hazed for playing on a computer first couple gigs. I'm like, all right, I'm not gonna deal with this. I started playing on CDs like all everybody else.
Mhm.
I was like, why don't we play on vinyls then, right? Like I got my techniques right here. I didn't think it was like I'm just gonna keep it PG, but right, like I just thought it was gonna be a little bit more nice and
Yeah.
friendly, and I slowly realized like this is a business. People livelihoods are on the
Mhm.
line, and if you interfere with that, they're going to protect that. And it was just something that took a little while for me to understand because when you're younger, you're just doing
Mhm.
this for fun. You got
Right.
your day job, you got your this, your that, you're still in school. It's kind of like a hobby, so you're not really thinking as clear as adult or somebody that's managed or rep by an agent and has this
Mhm.
whole ecosystem based around them. Now it's a much more serious business than I had imagined it would be. However,
Oh.
I've learned to grow in this industry and I've learned to really love it, and it's all about the people you work with, right? So I think for me, like what all started it was like I was just a piano. I played piano.
Mhm.
I had my martial arts teacher was a musician that would always play music for us. Our karate demonstrations, I would have like cheesy 90s dance music, playing in the background from jock jams while I would do my martial arts forms and compete or demonstrate.
Right.
And people would love this. I would start doing backflips because I was in gymnastics. Kids are signing up because they think, like they're going to start doing the stuff I'm doing. And it was great. So I was just always surrounded by music, and especially like electronic music. I was just fascinated by electronic music because we were all growing up on
Mhm.
live instruments, and we were just starting to hear some like 80s breaks and this, and 808s, 909 drum machines started coming into play,
Yep.
and here we are like 30 years later with the same drum machines making the music, right? So a lot of it has been like rehashed and done over, and I love the fact that somehow things stay fresh, right? Like that's how creative people are out there, and that's how hardworking, and like that's why I fall into more of the audiophile. I love
Mhm.
exploring different styles of music, whether it's danceable or just listening style. There's tons of music like taiko that I
Mhm.
absolutely love, and I will play almost daily because it puts me at a nice, calm, peaceful
Yeah.
mood. And then when I'm ready to go out, I'm gonna crank some, like Fisher. And when I'm waking up, I got our birds over here. They love taiko, so I mean, they
Wha
start singing.
what kind of
But
birds do you have?
We have two conures now. We just got a buddy for our other one that's 1 year old.
Yeah, I
So
used to have an African gray parrot, and
oh
that,
wow.
yeah, that
Those
bird,
talk too.
yeah, all the time. And it was like,
Yeah.
we have a, so it was back at home. I'm from Cali, so back over there, the bird will do the Old Spice commercial. So that's where
Oh
it's at
my
right now.
goodness.
Yeah.
Well, they're amazing. I feel like birds are so funny, and they communicate through sound. They
Hmm.
sing, they do, so another odd, thing in my life that, people are like, you have a bird? I don't know. It's
Birds are
just, I
just
like
so
birds.
easy
They're
to
cool.
have, maintain, and keep you company, man. There's just such
They're
simple
fun.
but like awesome creatures, you know?
Yeah, they are. They're very intelligent. So yeah, they've been a ball. So you might even see them at Odyssey Music Festival this summer.
Do they
They might make an appearance.
do you take out the whole cage, or you just have them walk out on their
We
own?
we have little backpacks for them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, our African gray parrot, he wouldn't fly at all. He just sticks with us. Just like you just put him on there.
Yeah, then they're very loyal. So
Mhm.
they have no desire really to go anywhere else. So
So you were basically, you're revolving around music, yeah, and then that's kind of got you into this like the start to like DJing. At what point were you like, I want to make a music festival happen? Like that was a crazy
that w-
transition.
yeah, so I mean, I had that dream early on because, like I said, I went to Ultra and I was
Mm-hmm.
like, wow, there's so many people that like you got to remember
Mm-hmm.
back then dance music was still kind of like not cool. It
Mm-hmm.
was still the weird thing, and most people were into either hip hop or pop music. So at that time specifically, it was like my introduction into this world. I had not really, I had to wait until I was 21 to go anywhere. We're not in Europe or Canada.
Right.
So I was like, all right, here I am, 21. We baby faces. We don't have fake IDs. At least I didn't. So I couldn't go when I was 18. So I would get
Dude,
these events.
fakeid.com has them. You
Right? Yeah, they didn't have
didn't.
that back then. But, I was there and I got to see that, and that struck an interest right away. I was like, the first thing was like, I want to be on that stage. I was like, wow, this is like incredible. I would love to share my art and music when I start making it, like
Hmm.
this just looks amazing. Like what a high. And then, I was like, wow, what if we could do like a music festival? That happened a little later, but that was like on the back burner. I was still focused on building my career as a DJ and a producer and trying to establish that. I knew there were like steps to make this work, and I
Hmm.
was trying to not to, you got to be willing to make adjustments along the way, and you can't plan everything out. So be ready to change a lot of things, but if you're diligent enough, and this worked out really well, is that from the DJing and producing, and I went to the thing that really changed, I would say it for me, is I went to school in New York to study music and
Hmm.
learn how to produce a little bit more in depth, through some really incredible teachers that were more specific. Again, this was probably back in like 2014, and it was on the come up where more schools were starting to present themselves. So DJs and producers out there, if you are interested in becoming and being involved in this and taking your stab at it, becoming educated in the music and the technology
Yeah.
behind creating is super, super important. I'm sure you can also advocate that by being a creator and learning how to run all these different things that you have to create your show and do your graphics and social media and things. So there's so much that you can learn and that you can share with others. So
Yeah. Are there
yeah, I
any
mean,
like specific
honestly,
are there any like specific classes that you kind of saw were like beneficial, at least to a DJ standpoint?
so I was doing a production course
Mhm.
on Ableton. I'm actually a Logic user and I'm self-taught on Logic, and I still play around in Ableton here and there,
Mhm.
but I just fell back in love with Logic. But the production courses are really great. The school I went to is no longer around. However, there's so many options now. I think it's smart to just take advantage and see what opportunities are out there to study. So many, all the way down from like big record labels offering services all the way down to the micro level of like specific artists offering their services to
Wow.
one-on-one and things of that sort, which I think is great. Like I wish that was available
Mm-hmm.
when I was having these crazy dreams and I couldn't even find a YouTube
Yeah.
tutorial on this stuff. So it's
It,
come a long way. And then I think as far as being an audiophile, I think, you know, mixing and mastering is also super important. So, you know, you want those mixes and
mm-hmm.
those tracks to sound really nice and crisp and clean. You don't want no muddiness. You don't want to be, you know, killing people's ears with your hi-hats or your high end of your music. So there's a lot to learn. So those were the two best for me. I think theory is something that a lot of people might already get or have learned
Mm-hmm.
when they were younger. So I think the technical side of producing music and DJing is really important to learn because that will really create a nice setup for you to create
Yep.
your own music and get that stream of music coming out for fans. And then also you'll be really confident in your skill. You know, you want to walk on stage and, you
Mm-hmm.
know, have no jitters. You want to, you know, you're there having fun. This is what you work so hard to do, you know, to get into these spots. That's why when I see DJs not looking up at the crowd or like having fun, I don't care if there's 5 people in the room, right?
Yeah.
Like I want to see some like charisma and energy, some uniqueness. You know, like we're here kind
Yep.
of, you know, on our hard working money on a night out when we're working, you know, on the weekdays and stuff as a consumer. If I'm going out on a night out, I want to have fun, you know, like, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm all about that. Like, I don't think people should be afraid to be themselves or just have fun and be silly sometimes. Like the music industry is a place of forgiveness and fun and acceptance and all of those things, right? So it should never be discouraged to do things like outside the box or feel like you have to fit in somewhere because a lot of people find themselves like following along on the train, like trying to sound like somebody because they're really, really popular right now.
Yeah, or it's
So
just easier to do that because it's like I don't know, being judged for doing something or being ridiculed for something, or I could just do what everybody else is doing and then just be like, oh well, so and so is doing it.
yeah.
It just makes it
It
easier.
is a good intro. I will say this. I think like as a producer or a DJ, it's really great to use reference tracks
Hmm.
on when you're producing music so that you have some sort of guideline. So if you well, you know, in the beginning of your career, you can't expect to just become like a John Summit overnight. The
Hmm.
kid
Right.
grinds like he grinded as a young adult into his, you know, he's in his late 20s now. This is all a product. This is premeditated stuff. Like it doesn't just happen overnight. And you know, a lot of people see the success and then it's just like bitterness. It's like
Yeah,
you know,
they in
like
their mind it was
wow.
overnight. They don't know, the countless hours, the countless warehouse parties, the basement
Just the
parties.
late
The
nights,
Mhm.
early mornings, like back to back, like flights and this and
Yep.
that. It's exhilarating. I've done it on a small scale, and I'm super proud of that. And we've hit like things like Billboard and Mix Mag and DJ Mag and Dancing Astronaut. There's just been so many W's in
Mhm.
this whole life of music that you know, I'd be a fool to stop trying to grow this and create something new and fresh every few years. It's kind of like if I'm not I noticed that about myself because like every once in a while I'll just like contemplate. I'm like, damn, you know, it's like because Christine, my girlfriend,
Mhm.
helps out with all of this stuff. And shout out to Christine.
Yeah, and
You'll
she also
see her on the
DJs,
wave
right?
stage. She plays live piano, she produces drum and bass. She's been helping us tremendously. She's our co-founder. So shout out to Christine. Yeah, like things like that, like incorporating live music into sets is also like a super cool thing that I would
Yep.
love to see more of, you know. So just going back to that, it's really cool to see and provide more opportunities for you know, musicians that have some really great talent that are, you know, haven't had that platform
What's
yet.
crazy is your idea for why, you're like making these festivals and you're allowing these kind of like underrated DJs to really have a platform or people who just aren't being represented as much,
It's the
have a platform,
representation
you know?
100%. That's really it. Yeah.
I do that for the podcast. The reason I started the podcast is I felt there were people that were in my life that weren't being represented as much, and I wanted the ability, nay, the power to put people on a platform that aren't being represented enough in the community. I'm like, because in my eyes, I see more that's happening, and I'm like, there's not enough podcasters talking about the people that are making this industry happen, and that's kind of like why I decided to do
I've
this.
been watching all your vlogs, man. I love the channel. I really do. And I know how difficult and time consuming all of this is. I vlogged my entire season in Ibiza and it was exhausting. I mean, it's just like I know it. And when I watch your stuff, it brings me so much joy because it really means so much that we have people like you, Manny, that are out
Appreciate you,
there
man.
doing these things and giving the spotlight and the platform for all these creatives and people that are, really putting in their everything, right? Like when you're setting forth on something that hasn't been done before, it is incredibly scary. And it is something that you have to remind yourself constantly over and over that you're doing this because you love it and everything is going to work out. Like that
Yeah.
is so important to just beat into your brain. Like that will be your life, like sentence, right? Like if you believe in yourself and you believe in this thing and you're passionate about it, whatever it is, it's going to succeed at some point or another. The time it takes all depends
Mhm.
on how badly you want that.
Yeah, and,
Um,
to circle back to what you said at like the first 5 minutes, it was, it all starts with like not giving up. And that's one thing that I always tell people, because when you said that, I was like, dang, that's exactly what I tell people. Just don't give up no matter what happens. You're gonna go through some really low lows. And that's gonna be
yeah.
like one of your make or break moments. Just don't give up. Like if you get past that
Those
hurdle,
are those
yeah.
are the defining moments in life, are those like really, really hard times. And then as long as you don't give up and you're just like you stay focused, don't get emotional in those
Hmm.
times. I have to remind myself that too, like
Yeah, me
straight up.
too.
This is a
Same
great
way.
reminder for right now. So but yeah, I think it's super important, and Manny, you're a great inspiration for a lot of people and a lot of people in the scene specifically, but I think that'll permeate outside of the scene
Mhm.
because there's so many people that aren't musicians but are involved, right? Like there's
Right.
just, the scene has grown so much since I was introduced through it by my brother that would go to like clubs in New York City in the 90s, and I'd get his like, or the early 2000s, I'd take all his mixtapes from his car and they'd be in my CD player in the house, and he'd always like, he'd check it, he'd be like, where's my CDs? I was like, it's right here. And I love the fact that like now I can find all this older music on Spotify, and it's just reminded me a lot because I've lost so much music. Like the digital age of
Hmm.
music is a blessing and a curse. It's
Yes.
like you have so much available. However, there's so much that gets lost. And that's why I have my vinyl collection over here. So I'm still very passionate about keeping tangible art as well as
Yeah.
like having a painting or, like something like that. So I love having tangible art. It's something that you could pass down. I have my father's records,
Hmm.
I could pass those down to my children or friends or family. And those records defined a lot of moments in my life that I can just bring back in a moment, like just by listening
Hmm.
to those tracks. So, and those tracks all kind of play into what I do today. So I'm just blessed and grateful to be doing what I do, because I remember working a 9 to 5, hating every day of my life. Like
Hmm.
I joke about it, but it was really serious in those times. Like I would get really nice moments in my career, but I wasn't there to experience those. But thank God that I have angels in my life that
Yeah.
would like took a video and sent me a video of like Sonny Fodera dropping my track at EDC
Oh,
while
those
I'm,
moments.
and
What
I'm
a
sitting at my desk with a tear in my eye while I'm doing paperwork or writing emails, at some place that I wasn't really enjoying. Um, it was just those moments that really brought I was like,
yeah.
all right, I can't, like, I have to do this. Like, these are omens in life that are telling me like I'm on some sort of path that makes sense. At
Mm.
some level, I'm doing something right now and I need to continue doing that. It was a weird time too, because I had to figure out like, do I quit my job? Do I stay with my
That's
job?
scary. Yeah.
Do I move? What do I do? And there's a lot of things in life that will deter you from making a decision like that. I mean, there's a
Yeah,
slew
because
of
your
them.
9 to 5 was safe. I mean, that was safe.
Yes.
Like, God, man, it resonates so much to that. Because it,
Yeah, listen, I think it's super important and I love the fact that I feel like there's so many entrepreneurial types now
mm,
because they've gone through the motions and they've noticed like there's so much more out there in life than being stuck here all the
yeah.
time. And sometimes it's super, maybe you will be stuck here. I'm stuck at this desk a lot, but I'm grateful to be at this desk and I
Yeah.
will stay at this desk until my work is done because I
Happily.
love what I do. And I'm doing this for myself and my family and for our family, our festival family,
hmm
our record label families. We have a blog site as well that we started in 2014 that we just do free downloads. We're running up on our 10th year.
Oh,
And that
nice.
was,
Congrats.
that was something that really just catapulted us, all these years is just having these multiple platforms of just music and artists and things that were different, right? Like
hmm
we were just trailblazing our own path. But we had a lot of influence and we've had a lot of, really great mentors along my career and then also that have believed in all these projects that we've
Yeah.
carried out. Yeah, I just can't thank all of everybody that's been a part of my
It's
life
so
and that
nice to
has
have.
supported me.
It's
Yeah.
so nice to have a group of people that back you up, that support you, and then like most importantly, believe in your vision. I can't like I can't express like how much that means that somebody believes in your vision because you always have people that will be there to help you out, but don't believe in you the way you believe in you. And sometimes you just need those people to be like believe in you the way you do. It's so
Yes.
important.
I totally agree. And I think it's, back to the angel thing, man.
hmm
I think if you consider that and you do start thinking of life in the terms of omens and angels and things that are like energy based, you'll wake up real quick if you're chasing people and
hmm
finding yourself feeling awkward and just like you're wasting your time. Odds are you probably are.
Yeah.
Like just
Always follow your gut.
trust the gut.
Yeah.
It's usually spot on. And the more you do that and the more you have the courage to just be yourself, be different, take the path that you truly desire and want for your life. That's what you got to do. And I think that's ultimately going to bring you happiness and joy in your life.
Yeah.
That's why I do what I do, and I want that for everybody else. I don't think there's a reason why everybody couldn't, all be doing that as well.
hmm
And, friendly reminder, go ahead and do that for yourself, right? Like I think it's
Yeah.
important to, show self-care. You got to love yourself. You got to do the things for you first. I know a lot of people are very selfless and like to do a lot for other people first.
Yeah. And like
My
knock it
mother
off.
is a great example.
Yeah, knock it off.
And
You gotta worry about yourself every once in a while.
yeah, and the thing is the more you do take care of yourself, the more you will be able to take care of other people that you care
Exactly. You can't do one
about.
without the other.
Very important. Yeah, it's very important that you do it in that, I feel, in that order,
Mhm.
because I've done that in the opposite order
Yep.
almost my entire early life and found myself in this position that I was not happy with.
Yeah.
Change it
Because
up. Sure enough, here we are, right?
I was just talking to my friend today, right? I was working today and I was telling her that I came to the realization where I realized I wasn't taking care of myself. I wasn't eating lunch, I wasn't eating breakfast, I wasn't drinking enough water, and I realized that my body tends to hate when I do that. And in my mind, I'm like, I'm working more, working harder, working longer. I'm giving up breakfast, I'm giving up lunch, I'm giving up drinking water, because I'm so in the moment. I'm just trying to work really hard that I
Yes.
noticed
Mhm.
I was getting angry and I was getting frustrated and I was making mistakes. And I'm like, the moment I started eating and drinking water, I realized that I wasn't making those mistakes. It was because my body was telling me that I needed to take care of myself first. Otherwise, it wasn't going to continue working.
I mean, it's mental health at the end of the
Yeah.
day. Like, food is life, and
Yeah,
that is
literally.
gonna nourish you to feel good and carry out. So I'll be honest. I don't eat breakfast. I'm usually not a breakfast guy unless I'm like it's a weird morning and I'm hella
Dude, I'm
hungry and I
very
want
similar
some,
to that.
you
Yeah.
know. I'm good with a little bit of coffee in the morning, and that
Mhm.
usually gives me like my perk.
Yep.
That's my caffeine for the day. Um, Typically I'll go in on a big lunch like at 1, 2
Mm.
o'clock or something and just like pig out until dinner. And then I heard of intermittent fasting, and I've been doing this my entire
Okay.
life. So I was like, okay, that's a thing. All right, well, I guess I intermittent fast, right? But yeah, it was odd, but ultimately I think it's really important just to pay attention to what it is that you yourself need. Everybody's
Yeah.
really different biologically.
Yeah, your body will just
So
tell you what you
yeah,
need.
like
Listen to it.
you'll know. And then you will know, like I will say this. This is the funniest thing and the most simple thing in the world. And I'm a Pisces. So drink water. Whenever you feel bad or you don't
Mhm.
feel well, whether it's a physical or a mental issue, right? I think, do you see them?
I do. I was gonna mention that.
Drink water and it'll make you feel better. Even the birds agree. Look at them.
Yeah.
They're so funny. They want to be on the podcast
I
too.
was
What's up,
like, these
guys?
are like the cutest things. Oh, that was
But
awesome.
yeah, I think it's super important. That's also something that we definitely take notice to and
Mhm.
focus on at the festival as well. Water stations, we're planning on a lot of shade for this year. Misting stations. We have some really cool vendors with like popsicles and smoothies and things to keep us nice and hydrated. We have obviously one of our amazing sponsors, Odyssey
Mhm.
Elixir.
Okay,
Uh,
that gets
just the
that
best.
brings me like this
Yeah.
question, right? What was the idea behind Odyssey Music Festival? Like what came about that name? Like,
So Odyssey, so I'm not good with names. I'll tell you straight up. And that's usually the hardest thing for me is like the inception, right? Like
mhm,
the creation of what it is that's going to be a thing for the next forever.
mhm.
Like it's almost like a tattoo. You better think about it like 10 times before you make the Instagram tag and the you know
Oh yeah.
register the business and you know
LLC.
get the website and the domain and all that
It's
stuff.
all so important. It's funny because like you have to figure out the name because you can't start all of that without figuring out the name.
They're teasing me. They come over,
Yeah,
they
I know.
say
I see
hi, and
that.
then they're like, all right, bye. They just want some FaceTime on
Yeah,
camera.
they
There
want
you
some
go.
attention.
Yeah, but I mean it's like we do want to obviously just keep improving every year. Like
Mhm.
that's the most important thing for us. So yeah, I mean I wanted to also ask you a quick question, like,
Yeah. It was
because yeah, I would love for just for me and maybe some fans out there that may be following you, like how did you get into like where was your like start with the whole dance music? Where is the passion coming from? Because I'm super intrigued. I love what you do, and I would love to understand more about how we can also work together in the future and keep doing the podcast and the festival and just yeah, I mean the team's been growing so
yeah.
well that I'm just truly blessed to have you part of the gang, and yeah, I'm really looking
I
forward to everything this year.
I initially started, getting to the rave scene and all that stuff. Just I was literally the typical guy we complain about now. We're like, oh, these people don't care about the music; they're just here to get fucked up. I was that guy. I'm so basic and human that like that was me initially. It wasn't until 3 years, so like I want to say like 2016, 2017, that I started realizing that my finances were just getting a little like risque for my taste and I wanted to make something of myself. And I figured like, I saw a couple like influencer people like out in the scene. And I was like, well, there's no guys. I would love to represent like the guys part of the scene. Maybe bring out about like guy men wear, or sorry, like guy festival clothing. And
That'd
I
be
went
lit.
for it. Yeah, I started doing that. I started getting recognized more and more, and I was like, "Oh, cool! Maybe I could start like being more than just an Instagram face and start vlogging." So I started like my YouTube channel, and then people were like really recognizing me, like brands and companies, to the point where like they were asking me to do community meetups and give away merch. And now I've got to the point where like I started this podcast because I wanted to represent more of the community that I believed needed the spotlight. So that was the purpose behind that. And then I also started using my YouTube channel to do more than just, like opening unboxing videos and doing more than that. And I was like, let me start vlogging the
YouTube's
festivals.
amazing.
You
It
know,
really is.
let me vlog
And
the. Go ahead.
yeah, go ahead.
I want to do more than just like vlog those videos, and I was like, let me vlog at the festivals. I started to realize that people were commenting, asking like, "Hey, how's security? Hey, do they have enough water?" People were asking me an abundance of questions that I started to
Yes.
then point those things out in my video, because then I would answer those questions all in one. Now I'm at the point where like, I did the welcome ceremony for Lost Lands. I was the MC
That's
for
incredible, man.
I was the M
Congrats.
thanks. I was the MC for a
The
fashion
fashion
show.
show.
Yeah,
I
and
remember. Yeah,
imagine
yeah.
so like now I'm like doing more for the community, but like in the festivals now too. So it's like it's just
You're a team player, and you're like you're a utility player is what you are. Like you're
yeah.
really filling a lot of like you're wearing a lot of hats. And I think it's like, there are a lot of established, I think, like blogs and things like
Mhm.
that now. But I feel like, and that's why I started Spiro way back, because I used to get denials a lot, and
Mhm.
and rightfully so. I wasn't really that great at that time, but it just made me want to do my own thing. And I think by you starting this is going to inspire a lot of people as well. And I know that this is going to grow a lot as you do that, because as like a fan of music and
Mhm.
as a patron of other music festivals, I love events. Like this is why I do what I
Yeah.
do also, is because festivals are the epitome. I don't tell nobody this, but I don't even like clubs that much anymore. I
Oh,
love
keep it a
festivals.
secret. It says it on the
I'm kidding.
podcast.
I'm kidding. I'll go for a nice club night any day of the week, but
Yeah.
I am more of a open air boat party, rooftop party
Mm.
type DJ. As like a producer DJ, that's usually where I found myself having the most fun, like feeling the best, like getting the best reactions with the music that I like to play. So I was always just very aware of those things that would bring me that joy. So I tried to gravitate more towards that. And I was like, man, if I could do something like this one day, you know, I will totally do it.
I mean, Thomas,
And
right now, you are influencing people, to think in a certain direction of like, hey, I can do this. You know what I mean? Because like, it's funny that we need validation to even understand that people are thinking like that. I had these two people at Imagine Music Festival tell me that they're the reason they started their YouTube channel.
that's amazing.
And I was like, I'm nobody, man. Like I'm nobody. You don't like so but for me to hear this just validates, my insecurities, So like
And
they're
that's only the two people that vocalized
yeah,
that and told
exactly.
you. There's plenty of people that will just, creep in the background and just, be inspired by things that you
Yeah,
do.
and
So
I'm just so happy and I'm filled with joy and and if one day they get more followers than me or more attention or more opportunities than me, I'm
God
just
bless.
grateful to have been a part of their journey. Like that's I'm not,
Absolutely.
the
I
world's too
mean,
big.
yeah, and that goes back with the artist too. So I love that you have that same like perspective on the scene, is trying to make it a more. We just had a meeting with Compass Management. I mean, and we did like this whole seminar about sexual
Mhm.
harassment in the workplace, in dance clubs and in festivals. It's upsetting to see that there are more and more of these, stories coming up. And if we can be a part of trying to help mitigate that and basically cut that out
Yeah.
completely, we're all about that. We don't do this for any other reason, because the love of this music and the community that this all kind of entails. There's just been too many, even for the artists, like getting into positions where they can go to jail. Like you need to,
Yeah.
this is a, know, people take it a little bit too lightly sometimes, right? Like it's like there's a fine line. You could either give too. It's like you don't have to care like you don't have to be that serious, but there are things in the scene that people will obviously be doing because of substance, and we just want to make sure that we're in a safe place for everybody. And we're doing more of this with, like EDM Maniac, I see does things like that, which is super great.
Yep.
We just want to make this a safe place, and we're a small festival right now. The fact that we're even thinking and entertaining these things, it makes me feel great about the team that we have, and just the focus on how we want to create this and make, because we're creating an experience for everyone. We're transporting people into this world that we create. We want this world to be a safe place and an exciting and fun experience for everybody. We
Yeah.
don't want anyone to have a bad experience at this place.
You
So,
know what's crazy is
Odyssey.
I was talking to my friend about the way people perceive music festivals from before and now, right? Before we were 18, 19, 20, 21. If we like if people were like falling down because they were dehydrated or they weren't getting like good campsites and everything was like destroyed, or they were just like really bad stuff happening to you, we would okay back in the days. Like, oh, it's fine, it's a music festival, you think about
Yeah.
Woodstock. Now it's like people are like, no, like this isn't okay. You paid $500 to be here. You shouldn't feel like this is Fire
No.
Festival.
I agree. And there's a lot of that does go on. And we're just blessed that we had a great team. Like, the city had zero complaints about us. We had
Oh, nice.
no medical issues at the festival. That is
That's
super,
freaking
super
awesome.
important to me personally, because back when we were in martial arts, we did a lot of benefits and charities, and I've witnessed a lot of tragic things in my life, and I would really just, it means the most to me that we always make sure that we're handling things the right way, because we had couple thousand people last year. It'll grow this year, third year grow more, right? So
Yep.
we want to like be proactive with all of this. So it's something that we take a lot of pride in too, because St. Pete is a very conscious city, and they're very specific with the organizers that they do let into Vinoy Park. It's a beautiful park right on the waterfront of downtown St. Pete,
Yeah, I didn't
and
realize how beautiful that place was. Like,
it's
wow, like
great.
Vinoy
It's
Park was.
great.
I mean, wow, it was my first time going to Vinoy Park. It was beautiful, man. Like,
I'm glad that you enjoyed it. And thank you again for the vote of confidence on Odyssey. Obviously, last year, we're selling a dream. We're selling that vision, and it was just it was mind blowing to see
yep.
what a team could come together and pull off. When I've been told most of my life when I was growing up that this is crazy talk. You're nuts. You're out of your mind. Like, just be a doctor or be a lawyer and everything's going to be fine. And they're totally right. They're 100% right. This is crazy. And that
Yeah.
would have been
Yeah.
that would have been an easier route when you think about it. But I've never really been about easy routes or things, doing things because they're easy. I do things because I feel that I should do them. I'm gravitated towards things that are interesting and that appeal to me. So yeah, I could never just see that. But
Dude, if it's funny, it's like, what you're doing is crazy. Imagine when I had to tell my mom that I just wanted to be a YouTuber for music festivals.
listen,
She would have to
it's
throw me out the
so
window.
oh man, like that. And I love that, because in a couple years, it's just going to be so easy. And even maybe now you're already showing like lots of growth where she's going to be like, all right, but listen, I'm still proving my parents
Yeah,
wrong
yeah,
to this
exactly.
day. So don't worry. It's a never ending thing that will always be
Yeah, yeah.
there.
Your parents are always
But
gonna just, and it's not that they're just worried about us. They want to make sure that we're just gonna be honestly mentally okay. That's really what it comes down
yeah,
to.
no, I mean, we're in a pretty interesting world these days, and we're up against a lot of media messaging and just constant distractions in your life to take you away from your path. Sometimes you just got to put the phone down and get some work done, and
Yeah.
then you can come back to the socializing and things like that. I mean, that's definitely a huge part of what we do, is definitely the social aspect, but I think it's really important too, going back to self-care. Take that time,
Mm-hmm.
block out a couple hours for yourself, meditate, do your work, go to the gym,
Oh, I've wanted
take
to
a
start
walk.
meditating again. I used to
Yeah.
meditate all the time, and I've just kind of like drifted away from that, and just literally just.
Listening to music is meditation.
Mhm,
It's like there's arguments that actively listening to music where you're in a room,
mhm,
maybe by yourself or whatever, but you're actively listening to that music. You're hearing the instruments, you're listening to every part of that song, and you're connecting with the emotions of that
yeah.
song. It is very therapeutic. And when you think about it, it's like when I heard that for the first time, I was like, wow, I've been meditating my whole life. That's great.
I'm a
No
pro.
wonder I'm so calm, like my
Yeah.
parents are always like, wow, why you're too chill, you're too calm, like
I
don't
need
be
to be
freaking
more chill
out.
these days.
Yeah, they don't understand. So I think I will say that I think listening to music that you really truly enjoy could be a great facilitator to meditation or put
Mhm,
you in some sort of meditative state, to kind of separate yourself from your troubles and worries
mhm.
or your anxiety. A lot of people suffer from anxiety now.
Yeah.
And that's another, I think that's a great issue of topic, that people need to address more. And and anxiety is just energy
Mhm,
needing to be output in a way.
mhm.
Most people just think too much when they have that anxiety. They don't
Yeah.
put the energy into action. So when we're kids, we have all this energy and we're always bouncing off the walls, but it's normal for kids to do that.
Yeah.
Now, when we get those motions of like anxiety and we're feeling things, that's like a red flag to like get up off your chair, go outside, go do something, get your mind off, like stop thinking and start doing. I think that's really, really important to combating any anxiety in your life.
Mhm,
And then when you get into social anxiety, Christine and I sometimes go out and we won't even have an alcoholic beverage.
mhm.
We'll have a soda or an Odyssey elixir or something that might look like an alcoholic beverage. Not that
Yeah.
we're against drinking alcohol. I think there's a time and place, right?
Right.
But I think social anxiety also goes into like holding something at the club, so that encourages more
Yeah, I
people
have
to,
no so, like,
to
I deal with
drink
social
and
anxiety, and I do, like, the same
yeah,
thing where, like, I have to hold something, whether it's my
yeah,
bag or the I don't know, I've developed social anxiety over the years to the point where now it's like, I just have to hold something, and it's just,
it
like, the weirdest
helps. It
thing.
helps.
Yeah,
It gives you that like that little distraction to help you with the
yeah.
conversations. But again, I think like surrounding yourself with people that you love and
Mhm, yeah,
trust and
that's a
that
big
are
one.
are are about the same things, you find yourself less anxious, and you're like,
That's so
I feel
true.
like I could be myself around all of you guys. And
Yeah.
and if I express something to you, I feel like nobody's gonna use that against
Mhm.
me, at some point. I think that's the big like I think people are self-conscious of that now, and they're maybe a little bit timid to share a lot of these feelings and be, a little bit more emotional because a lot of us are in the business now. So, I could be coming to friends all the time, like, oh my God, like
Yeah.
pouring out all of my anxiety and my stresses. But that's everybody got problems. We got to remember that. We
Yeah.
all struggle in life. Like nobody's got it easy. Like even the people at the top are busting ass and they're probably working 10 times as much to stay at the top.
Yeah,
That's when
100%.
the real hard work starts, is like when you hit success. To maintain the success and grow, I feel like has always been the hardest thing, like even as a DJ and a producer. For me personally, I would consider production being that in my life,
Yeah.
because when I had like an early break where one of my records just like took wing and just went crazy and got my name all over the place, and that was just I wasn't ready for that. I don't know, like I'm gonna enjoy it and ride the wave, but I
Yeah.
don't think I was ready for that like I wasn't developed enough as an artist, as a professional. So yeah, I think it's like, timing's obviously like a really important thing, but Yeah, I love the fact that it's all like kind of gotten to this point where we can influence different aspects of life. We can give back to communities, we can help feed families, we can provide opportunities for artists, and we've got so many people that are just volunteering to help us now, and I'm like kind of taken back, to be honest. I do realize that this is going to grow over time, and I'm so grateful for the first years, like the freshman class, right?
Yeah, right.
I think that was incredible, and everybody that purchased the ticket, that came out and supported Odyssey Music Festival, you are now my family, and I love you to death. Like, that is the most. There you go.
There you go.
Agreed. I really do. Like, I can't say that enough, and it really means the world to me and my family, Christine, all the artists that play, and our sponsors, our partners, everybody included, you, Manny. There's just been so much to be grateful for. We've made it so far, and I think we're just, it feels like we're just getting started again.
Exactly.
So,
to bounce back to the drink that you had on your hand, what is in that drink?
So this is Odyssey Elixir. It's a mushroom elixir. I'll just put this on camera,
But
real
not
quick
that
for
kind
you
of
guys.
mushroom.
So yeah, so this is basically, so this one specifically is lion's mane and cordyceps. It's a holistic energy drink, so it's a replacement of something like a Red Bull.
Okay.
And they're in Publix now. They're in 7-Eleven pretty soon. They're just really blowing up because I love me personally, anything that is holistic, I am all about. I'm born into martial arts. I've always been about, everything and anything natural. I am not really about, trying to fabricate things on any level in life. So I was always about, and people would be like, "Are you on steroids?" I'm like, "No, I was a gymnast when I was young. So I'm very like vascular when I work out or when I do things. People have like, "Are you on?" I'm like, absolutely not. Like, it's kind of against what I believe in.
Yeah,
So
of course.
anytime we have products like this, I really love not only, drinking their product, but we kind of started replacing our pre-workout with Odyssey Elixir.
Yeah, because I remember last time, I think they had like 4 flavors and they were just like handing them out. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm like this, like, and I looked at them, so I was like for free, I could just have this. So
Yes.
I was like, I was just drinking those all day.
And that's the thing is, they were so, this is another, like, Deep Eddy had, like, when they were out there, another, our vodka sponsor, they're amazing. They brought out fanny packs for everyone with sunscreen and, all these like little things that were like a bandana.
Yeah, I still have a whole fanny pack.
Earplugs. Yeah. And then Odyssey Elixir came in and was just like, we're going to drop you a pallet and we want to give out as many of these drinks as possible. I'm like, beautiful.
God,
It's hot.
amazing.
Like,
Yeah.
it's, I really give them the credit for keeping everyone and the entire festival so hydrated and, like feeling great that entire day, because it was really hot. So they do have teas as well. I mean, the teas are my preference. I really love the teas, but these are just amazing. So I love having these.
What other stuff do we got going on for OMF?
So we have a lot. We have a lot going on. So we have a lot of Road 2 events that we're going to be announcing very soon. We're already announcing artists for this year. You can check it out all over the internets, and we can get into that afterwards. But yeah, we have a lot planned. I mean, just keep on socials, keep checking us out. We'll also be announcing phase 1 in about a few weeks. So
Nice.
I'm very excited for that. It's been a lot of planning, and honestly, like it's just super, super exciting to get these things rolling. And we're gonna do our best to actually, like, last year we were not as we weren't posting as much, like we didn't have as much content as we have this year to share because we didn't have a physical event until
it's the hardest year,
year.
man. It's the hardest year.
So we're excited to share all these moments that, our amazing media team was able to capture, and we're able to share these moments with everyone and just really create some excitement around the community for Odyssey 2.0, man. Like, Yeah, I'm just super stoked, and I think our team is, we have our core team from year one. Now I'm excited to see who becomes part of that core this
Right.
year, you know?
I saw some of your stuff that you had going on. I think you were having like an event in St. Pete. Was it like a barbecue? No, it was a
We did a
volleyball
pop-up.
pop-up.
Yes, we did a little pop-up on the beach. That was a super fun time. I mean, we've been doing little pop-ups here and there for a
Yep.
couple years now, and it's just become a thing, like now all of our different promoters, and we have like different events companies that we all pair
Hmm.
up and do these things together. So I would love to believe that, and this was a lot of the purpose of doing a music festival, is to tie in all of these different people, artists, businesses, brands. Like I just wanted to bring something more to the table than just, like my weirdest thing was promoting myself. Like I didn't like saying, "Hey, come see me DJ," or, "Here's my
Isn't it the
Greco
weirdest
hat
thing to
or my
do?
Greco
Like,
shirt." Um so it quickly became like, I want to make a record label or create a
Mhm.
record label and be able to support my friends and talk up my friends. Like it's
Yeah.
totally a conflict of interest for me to be tooting my horn over here like I'm the greatest DJ in the world.
Yeah.
Come see me, but it's really been great, and I love doing as many selfless deeds as I
Mhm.
can, because there's been so much of that that's happened in my life. So the reason I do so much of this is because of the people that have been in my life and that have influenced me and helped me along the way. And I, like you said, I never forget anybody that has
Yep.
has put in that kind of effort and that time into helping me. Like I'm not over here with a gun to your head telling you gotta help me, you gotta help me. Like you're out of your way, for the greater good, and that's incredible. I mean, if we can all come together to make something like this happen, where everybody wins, there's just smiles everywhere, people enjoying themselves. Life is rough, there's a lot of ups and downs in life, and I want to be a part of giving people the appreciation and celebration of life.
Yep.
um that's so important. I had a friend of mine, and he was a big fan of mine. That's how we became friends. His name is Ernie. He lives in Atlanta now, and I very much hope he comes out to Odyssey.
Hell
I
yeah.
think he is. We have a lot of our OG crew that comes out to our events, and this is a special one. But he always told me, he was like, I would be like, "Thank you so much for coming to support me. This is like my first gig,
Uh-huh.
headlining and stuff. Like these small gigs, I would go out into the crowd. I would do a little shuffle dance, go back into the DJ booth, like drop another track. I was weird with it, like I came from the dance floor and made my way onto stage and started DJing. So he just told me, he was like, "We're here celebrating life with you. We
Mhm.
enjoy being here with you. Like, you don't have to thank us. Like, we're happy to
Mhm.
be here." That was just like the most incredible
That's
thing to hear
amazing.
from somebody that I didn't even really know that well, and I met through, like, going out and being at a dance club or a nightclub where most people are like, watch out for those places,
Yeah.
a lot of bad people in those places, and you got to watch out. And I've got more family from this scene and from
Mhm.
making those decisions to think on my own and bring these people
Same.
into my life than blood relatives, right? So I
Same. Yep.
I love the fact that we can have an extended actual family, to just bring together every year, and that goes to my immediate family too. Like I don't get to see my own family that much anymore. So
Yeah.
it was like a big purpose, because we used to have big get-togethers and block parties and all this stuff back home in New York. And I love the
Listen, I'm
idea of
I'm back
trying
home
to
in
bring
California,
that.
man. I relate. I get it.
Yeah.
That's hard. I wish I
Oh
could.
yeah. I just want that to be something that we can just call home once a
Yeah.
year. I'm not
Exactly.
trying to do like a million gigs every weekend and stuff. I've gone through those motions, and I've had a ton of fun and met tons of great people doing that. I think it's time for me to like take the step back and kind of
Mhm.
look at the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years of our lives right now. Like this is something that will become an incredible event for worldwide audiences. Like we really want this to become a destination festival. We love St. Pete. We believe in St. Pete. and we want other people to experience what St. Pete is. We really love this city, and just the people here, the community here is very inspiring. And I've seen so many people come here and then wind up either saying they want to move or they want to come back right away. So
yes, yeah, St. Pete is definitely like its own little community as well. And I noticed that people who like live in Orlando and or they live in Tampa, a lot of them they like they want to relocate to St. Pete because of the community value that people there already bring.
a lot of creatives,
Hmm.
a ton of creatives in St. Pete.
Yep.
It's a very good blend of young entrepreneurial, hardworking creators. You're surrounded by beauty in St. Pete. I can't stress that enough. You got a beach side, you have a bay side, you have beautiful parks set up by the city. The city is very involved and very conscious and does a lot. Like I can't stress that enough, because when we were deciding on, back to the name and the location and the planning of Odyssey, that is a really, really seriously intense moment. And the date was also, I would say, probably the most difficult choice to make, even more so than the name. Odyssey obviously being for, a voyage, right? Like we're taking a voyage
Exactly.
together. That was kind of the basis of Odyssey Music Festival. And then just to kind of side note, we just launched our it's kind of like a discovery project. It's called Sonar by Odyssey, and we'll be, we have early signups right now for artists and DJs, producers in the United States to send in their music and a mix for their chance to play on these stages at Odyssey Music
Oh
Festival to
yeah,
open up. So
that's
yeah, we're
exciting.
excited. We're trying to bring lots of cool things into the mix. We're really trying to meet more people this year. We're trying to be more present in the community. We're focusing a lot more local this year as well. So I'm super stoked, and it's just been very rewarding. I mean, in all aspects of life. And again, I can't stress it enough. Just truly blessed to be here and chatting with you today. And I
Absolutely,
appreciate you
man.
taking the time to, yeah, talk about Odyssey together.
We're nearing towards the end. Is there anything you want to say before we cut the podcast?
Just that I love you, man. And thank you so much for having me.
No, dude, it's
And
the pleasure's all
yeah,
mine for sure.
it's everybody, subscribe over at Festy Hub Podcast. Hit the boy up. Big shout out to you and thank you for everything that you do, man. It's just truly inspiring to see so much of the community coming together. Even at its most like, you know, saturated, fabricated, like it's just so big now that I think after the pandemic, a lot of people that
Hmm.
weren't really into it went out, and a lot of the people that were really truly passionate made it known during these few years. And I think there's a lot to look forward to in the future for the scene, and for a lot of people that are new that want to maybe dive into the music business, into the music scene, whether you're an artist on with music, or you have production as well, which is something we didn't even touch on, right? Like you got people
Oh
that
yeah.
are doing staging and lighting and sound, and there's just so much in this business, in this industry. Go after it. Like that's my goal in life is to inspire and to help people that as much as I can, and just love what I do, right?
Beautiful, man.
So
Where
if
can
I can encourage you guys to do the same, that's all I'm here for.
Yeah, it's just like, back to the thing we said at the beginning, once you get into it, don't give up. And I think that's what weeds out the people who are in it, and they're not really into it, is whether or not
Yeah.
they give up. Give them about a year. If they've given up by then, they probably weren't that invested.
Yeah, a lot of people come and go, but
Yeah.
again, it's like you do see those people after the years, and that's when the relationships get really good, because you're like, oh, you see each other in different countries, different cities,
Yep.
states, and you're like, wow, like I love the fact that this world is massive. However, we keep running into each other, right? Like because we're fascinated with the music business. We
Yeah.
love the music, we love the
We'll take it
artists,
serious.
that connection with people and the places that we get to visit. I mean, I will suggest this too. If anybody that is watching this and coming to Odyssey, definitely take like the weekend and enjoy the city. There's so much that it offers. whether you just want to chill on a beach, or you go out on a boat and go fishing or kayaking or go dolphin watching. It's
Yep.
like there's just so many things going on there, and the community is just incredibly amazing. I guess the last thing is I really the ultimate goal of Odyssey is to see this becoming obviously a 2 or 3 day music festival, but more importantly for it to become a music conference. So for it to become more of a gathering of, the entire industry, promoters and different record labels and different artists, and you have different sponsors, and you have different you have PR that comes in, and management
Just a lot of
companies and
networking.
agencies that come in. And I'm highly inspired from Amsterdam Dance Event and obviously Miami Music Week. But who's to say we can't do that here? I mean, I think there's so much opportunity in doing that. The city is so cute and quaint and amazing that you have all these like small bars and clubs, and honestly a lot of it is just like it's privately owned and it's homegrown businesses. So this city really just comes together and supports one another, and I think that's something that we're just so blessed to have been welcomed into so gracefully in a way. And I'm really excited to show the city that we are, reputable, and we are professional, and we are a brand that is going to come correct and do this the right way, and make sure that we're going to provide the best experience for people. That's, we're in the business of that, so we
Now,
want to make
honestly,
sure
I can't
everybody's
wait
having
till
a good time.
this evolves into like a 2 3 day music festival, and then the city really will see the revenue that you're bringing into the city. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's the best part, is because, the more people that come in from out of town,
Yep.
all these local businesses, the city, everybody's going to wind up, doing better that weekend, and having, like that's just sustainable. And I want to create more of that for the music business. We're in a very tumultuous and fluctuant industry where I would say probably more than most there isn't a lot of stability. So I think music festivals are one of the most stable businesses now in the music industry, where it's like, all right, we're doing this every year. It's like a birthday party, right? Like you ain't gonna
Yeah.
miss a birthday, right? Let's go.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Exactly.
I really want that to become something where I can see all my favorite people. I have, I'm blessed to have a lot of friends. And oh, excuse me. Instead of me traveling around the world to see everybody
Yeah.
for the
Yeah.
last 10 years,
Come to
I
Mama's
would
house.
love for everyone to come enjoy a little time in St. Pete where we planted our flag. But
Yep.
not to say that I won't tour or DJ in the future. But I'm so happy and so grateful for what we're involved with right now. And I want to give my everything into this. And I want to make sure that I'm not half-assing anything, and I'm having the enough time to, take on all of these different moving parts in a music festival. And we do have a pre-party, a really awesome pre-party plan this year. So I mean, you can come out on Friday and hang out with us on that Friday, the
Yeah. Right
28th.
before.
July 29th is the music festival. We'll have official after parties as well. And then we're gonna have a little beach party, I think, on the Sunday, a little
That'd be dope.
recovery on the beach. Yeah. So we'll make a nice little weekend long of events. The music festival is just on that one Saturday, along with the after parties. We're taking it nice and easy.
Yep.
And yeah, with your support and the love of the community, we can see this grow into a 2 day and see more artists and friends getting put on. I'm just super excited to be here and doing what we do. And very much looking forward to seeing you this summer, Manny.
Absolutely, man. Likewise,
Yeah,
Thomas. If people wanted to link up with you or your company or the festival, what handles could they go through for that?
sure. So I'll start with Odyssey. You can check out Odyssey at omf20xx.com. Oh, I'm sorry, I said that all wrong. It's at omf20xx on socials like Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. And then if you want to check out our website, it's www.omf20xx.com. Keep it nice and simple.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and put all of that in the description down below. So like,
yeah,
it's easy for everybody.
absolutely. You
Yep.
can find myself at GrecosHouse on socials as well. And we very much look forward to seeing all of you at Odyssey Music Festival this summer, July 29th, 2023. We're back for our sophomore year, so you can trust we're coming correct this one.
I'll have all of that in the description down below in case anybody wants to click on those links. Check them out. I'll put the Instagram and all the handles on there as well, especially since it's so easy, since it's all the same thing. Usually some people like make it a little difficult. But this is just for the viewers out there. And this episode will be available on Spotify, SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, really any like major streaming platform. The video version for this is only going to be available on Spotify and YouTube. And like I say at every episode, y'all, I will catch y'all at the next one.